eBay is so massive that I think it's starting to become more a matter of going to specific sellers that you're comfortable with and checking what they have. And so that helps me quite a bit.
Well, that's a good number of followers. 500 people who get notified every time you put something online. That's impressive. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rare Book Cafe, the book lovers' rendezvous. And this is the coolest place to be. We are a bunch of cool cats here. Me and my co-host, Linn Ridge Books, Calhoun, Georgia. Hello, Lee.
Hello, Ed. Do you think we're in book lovers' paradise today? You got your shades on?
Somebody put on the Jimmy Buffett.
Let's do that. We could talk about what we have in our coffee break mugs today.
I got a generic. I just got a plain white to go because I'm at the library again, but the library's got a great balcony, so I'm outside, just chilling.
Well, that looks good, and I understand that except for Alan and I, everybody's up in the New England area today.
Yes, and that includes our co-host. Is he there? Richard Mori. Hello, Richard. Richard, last time I saw you, we did a show from your shop.
We did, and it was fun and exciting, and you didn't get lost or buried.
I didn't. Hey, Richard, I want you to keep your eyes open for me for some tin type, some letterpress. Preferably not lead. Tin or brass would be better.
Okay.
All right. And anything bookbinding, any hand tools for engraving, anything you find, let me know.
I just bought a book press.
Okay, well, I got one of those.
Okay.
And our guest this week, Scott Brasseur, from Scott and Beth Brasseur Gallery. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Very good, very good. Well, I can go through a big long list, but why don't you do it? Tell us who you are and why you're here.
Well, my name's Scott Brasseur. My business name is Gallery BFA. My wife and I work the business together. And Richard invited me. I've done shows with Richard. And, so he asked me to come on and talk a little bit about what we do.
Did you do the Concord show a couple weeks ago?
No, I missed that. I'm in the ABAA, but oddly enough, I don't sell a whole lot of books. I gravitate more towards historic Americana and ephemera, vintage photography, diaries, manuscripts, archives, things that things that add scholarship to the field that aren't published. And often it's one author, it's unique kind of things.
I've seen them. I checked out your inventory. It's mostly on eBay. It's just, I always continue, every time we have a new bookseller on the show, everybody has a different business model. It's so amazing that how we've been able to adapt in this world of e-commerce that whether we've got an open shop or a 30,000 square foot warehouse like Richard, somehow or other, we all survive.
Yeah. And I do a lot of physical shows too, in person, maybe 20 a year, some higher end, some more basic, entry level. But that's kind of my business in a nutshell.
Well, and the ephemera business has really mushroomed, I think, in the last few years, particularly among booksellers.
I agree.
That all of us in the bookselling business now seem to have increased our ephemera presence and look for more, as you said, unique, things that are of a unique authorship.
And aren't so heavy to carry around.
Right. That's a big help too. that is. And
Now,
I
Scott, I noticed you focus on Americana. Looks like most of the stuff in your inventory is between, I don't know, 1800 and 1930.
That's pretty accurate, although I do deal in some progressive merchandise or items categories, and those can go clear up to the 1970s. But you're right, most of what I deal with is probably 1930s back to early 1800s. I brought a few things I can show you to give you an idea of the type of things that
Yeah,
I deal
absolutely.
in. I have one project I'm working on right now, and it is I haven't found any information for it. It's a songster. It's Fred Pocock's shanty songster. And when I went online, I couldn't find a copy of it for sale anywhere. I couldn't find it on OCLC. But I liked the graphics, the whimsical nature of the cover. Evidently, Fred was a lumberjack, and he considered himself an angel. Um,
so
so
what
that's
kind of songs are they?
it includes short songs, limericks. There's some practical advice in here. It covers a lot of material. But they're short one-page songs for the most part, without music, just the words. Another example of what I look for is photography. So this is a American Indian, Native American photo by Hynes, who was a prolific photographer in the West. This happens to be running deer, 1880s cabinet card, very collectible area or topic.
Hmm.
But that would give you an idea some of the photography that I deal with. I also like archives, things that tell a story and belong together. Just yesterday in the mail, I got this photo album from the Dowd Corporation, and it would have been made for salesmen who travel to demonstrate to the customer the equipment and the capabilities in their factory. So every one of these pages deals with the centrifugal pumps that they manufacture. And then I particularly like this one, where it demonstrated the buildings in New York City and the height to which their centrifugal pumps can actually get the water to the top of the skyscrapers. There was another picture in here I liked, where they demonstrate how powerful their fire hydrant is. Unfortunately for the police officer, he gets a shower in the process. All of the pages are annotated on the verso, telling you exactly what the photo on the front is about. But if you were interested in industrial history, it paints a perfect picture for that particular company. And it's amazing. My wife jokingly says, "Oh my, another album about things we used to make in this country." So much of the manufacturing's been exported, but it's amazing the manufacturing capability that we had at the time. Another item that I deal in is American flags. So this is a 13-star flag. Whoops. This is a 13-star flag from around 1876, probably made for the centennial. So again, it falls into the historic Americana field. I deal in flags that are both Union, Confederate, but almost always American flags.
So that flag was for the 100th centennial in Philadelphia, probably.
Probably.
And I assume you, just like book dealers, have reference books. There's many reference books out there that help you identify these items. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a whole shelf full of them back there.
Right.
One of the most valuable ones for me is Threads of History by Herbert Ridgway Collins. It's out of print. It was printed in the 1970s, and Collins was a curator at the Smithsonian. But it's a wonderful resource if you ever get a copy of that. And then just to show you, I even like zany stuff. I picked this up last month. This is a 1920s notebook of handwritten cheers from a high school cheerleader in Texas in 1928. So I'm not going to do any cheers today, but it is pretty strange. I don't know if we can just find somebody who collects cheerleading notebooks, we'll be set.
Well,
So
cheerleading is really big in Texas, so you're very likely to find someone in Texas who wants that.
well, you might know. Are you from Texas?
No, no,
Oh,
but
okay.
I know that cheerleading, like football,
Well, it
is a
belonged
big deal.
it belonged to Hilda Albeyer, and she was from Bayard High,
Wherever
so
that is.
wherever that is. But that
Now,
would give
Scott,
you an idea of the diversity.
now, Scott, when I look on eBay, I see that you're a five-star vendor with over 14,000 positive comments. So that's quite impressive. And I know there's a lot of book dealers that are not on eBay or thinking about going to eBay. They're becoming disenchanted with the minutia of the rules at Amazon. What's your experience been? What would you say to a book dealer who's thinking about moving to that platform?
I would say it would be difficult to reach that many eyes on any other platform. Now, I can't say that they're all qualified buyers. There are disappointments in dealing with eBay. They're very heavily sided with the buyer, which often leaves you as the seller frustrated in some of their ruling. There are certain things that you can't sell, and you just have to accept that they won't allow that on their platform. You have Ku Klux Klan, Nazi, lynchings, anything that's distasteful, even though it's American history, they will pull that off of their platform. So there are limitations as to what you can put on there, and you need to be aware of that.
Right.
But it's one more avenue for selling. It's not the only one I use. I use Getman's virtual shows for some things. I use Jasper 52, which is under the Live Auctioneer organization on occasion.
Okay.
And things. I've done the ABA show for. It just depends on the type of merchandise and the what's available.
Have you done the ephemera shows? Are you a member of the ephemera society?
So I'm a member of the Ephemera Society. I've done the Ephemera Society shows consistently for the last 15 years. I was just there as recently as March and had a great show.
Good.
I sell to a lot of other dealers, buy from a lot of other dealers. So I'm not sure if that really, yeah. And as far, one of the things about being on eBay, by the way, to circle back, is that you develop a following after a while. Right now, I think I have over 500 followers that watch and get an email every time I put something on. eBay is so massive that I think it's starting to become more a matter of going to specific sellers that you're comfortable with and checking what they have. And so that helps me quite a bit.
Well, that's a good number of followers. 500 people who get notified every time you put something online. That's impressive.
And I thank you. And I try to add something once. I try to add about 30 items a week. So I think that's important to keep fresh material going on there.
It's also helpful on eBay when they tell you you have purchased from this seller before, because you probably don't. I don't remember who I purchased from on eBay, and that's kind of a feeling of, well, okay, I can look back and see who that was, and feel a little bit better about it. And really and truly, I haven't listed on eBay lately, but I have just dropped my Amazon account. I've had it with them, and I think the restrictions on eBay are no worse than and Amazon's focus on the buyer and not the seller is dreadful. So far I'm not missing it.
We really have no idea what's going on the other side of our screens, but I have heard from some people that there's a part of the eBay algorithm is it pays to upload something frequently, even if you did one thing a day or 5 things a week. Somehow or other, you get better placement and visibility. So the fact that you're entering 30 items a week is impressive.
It pushes you to the top of the search lists. It gets you a better placement. I know that that's helpful. Probably not as helpful to antique dealers as to people who sell a commodity like tennis shoes, when you're competing with so many other like products. But it might be more helpful if you were selling a book and there were several copies of the book out there. So listing regularly does help your position in the search engine.
Speaking of antique dealers, Richard, what are your plans this summer?
Well, I just have to say, Ed. So lots of plans. Going to be at Cooperstown, New York this weekend. Great show, wonderful place. If you've not been to it, it's well worth it. They've got, I think, 31 dealers, and I think they left me off the list, so I think that makes 32 dealers. So that should be a fun time. Of course, Brimfield is right around the corner. I've got a bunch of antique shows this summer. My usual Camden, Maine, and other.
When's Brimfield? I will come see you at Brimfield. When's Brimfield?
Yes, it's the second week of July. It starts, I think, the 8th. The Tuesday. It's the Tuesday after the 4th. So I think it's something like the 8th or 9th, whatever that Tuesday is, and it's all week long. And
I'll see you before that weekend.
I'll tell you how to find me.
Okay. I'm going to take a bookbinding class in Boston at the weekend, so I'll probably see you on Wednesday or Thursday then.
Okay, that sounds good. But so I did bring one thing to show you, something I had not seen before. So this is a book about valves, gates, and fire hydrants. 1888. Very unusual.
Did you guys coordinate your books?
No.
It sounds like it.
This is a really, really unusual piece. I've never seen. Have you ever seen one, Ed? Scott?
What's that? No,
have you ever seen one?
No, I haven't.
It's got gorgeous engravings in it, valves and all kinds. But this is a wonderful piece. I actually have a customer in mind for this, but I don't know if he's going to take it. It's a little more money than he's used to with me, but he's capable of it. He actually worked in the sprinkler business for a number of years in Massachusetts, so I think he might have an interest in it. But
you have a layaway plan? Maybe you can get him to put it on layaway.
Oh,
pay you monthly.
We've done that. But a really wonderful piece. But and I just bought that at an auction last weekend, and it was in a box that people weren't paying attention to. And of course, we're looking forward to the Boston Book Show. I don't want to forget to mention that. That's now in November 9th this year. For those who don't remember, the card looks like this. Always keep one of these at arm's reach. We're excited. We're filling up already. Most of the dealers are coming back, and we're hoping that you'll be there too.
Do you have a theme?
The theme, yeah, books, paper, apps, anything that will sell, anything that makes people happy. Is that a theme enough, Ed? Or?
Pretty soon we're going to start calling you the Shadow. Only the Shadow knows for sure. Richard Mori of the Shadow Show.
And I do want to say, Scott is one of our dealers at that show.
Well,
Scott will meet you.
It was one of your dealers at that show.
That's right. And Lee was there last year. We're hoping she'll be back this year.
Lee will not be back this year, I'm afraid.
Oh.
But we are hoping in the future. It's just been a slow process.
We know. We understand.
She's making her way back. Good for you, Lee. All right, Lee, before we head on out, Lee, any updates, insights, or quandaries you'd like us to address?
I don't know about quandaries, but I treated myself. I'm doing an article for Book Lovers Paradise for the 3rd issue on Dorothy Sayers and her mystery novels. And I bought myself a first edition of Busman's Honeymoon. It's not signed. It is the American first, but the American first came out about 4 months prior to the English first. So it is the first. And treated myself to that a couple of weeks ago, and been very pleased to have it. I have not bought a signed copy because Alan won't advance me $2,000 for research for the magazine.
Oh, that Alan's such a cheapskate.
I know. If he would do that, I could buy a signed copy.
Our producer is such a cheapskate. I haven't even gotten my royalty checks in months.
Well, I know. I know. We do have our mugs, however. Well, I
I don't
have
even
my
have mug.
mug. I
I
don't know
got a
about you.
paper white cup. All right, everybody. Oh, hey, Lee, by the way, I'm going to be moving my studio to Amherst, Massachusetts. And you know what's
Okay.
there is the Emily Dickinson
Right.
House
Right.
and the Henry Wadsworth Longfellow House.
Oh,
So we'll
good.
be doing some shows from some new locations
Good.
once I get there.
Good. I think our Mark Twain episode looks good.
All
It's
right.
out.
But we'll also have to connect you up with Dwayne, whom you didn't get a chance to see on your last visit. He lives just up the road in Shelburne Falls, which is very far from Amherst.
All right, Scott, thank you very much for joining us today. Tell everybody once again your website where they can find you.
GalleryBFA.com.
All things Americana, ephemera, and lots of cool stuff. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. See you next week on the Rare Book Cafe. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or wherever good podcasts are given away for free. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.